Hello, 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 and welcome to That Analytics Show. It is December 2024, so I've got a very festive mug that I am not drinking any coffee out of yet, but I shall be very, very soon. Now, I'm not actually live. I know I look like I'm live. I'm actually recording this live, so there'll be mistakes like there always are, but I am somewhere where the internet is a little bit spotty today, so I thought it was best to pre-record the show. But I am in the comments, so do let me know. Let me know the usual things. I'd love to know what's in your mug. I'd love to know if it's as Christmassy as mine. This was a gift from a friend of mine, Sandra. Thanks, Sandra, if you're watching. And I'd also love to know two things. Where you're watching physically in the world. So right now, I'm recording this in Athy, County Kildare, which is about an hour outside Dublin. But I am currently watching this in Belfast. So I'd love to know where you are physically in the world. I'd also love to know what channel you're watching on. Are you watching on YouTube? Are you watching on Facebook? Are you watching on LinkedIn? And a big, massive hello to you all. I think that's all the introduction done. Oh, who am I? What are we going to talk about? What is That Analytics Show? This is a monthly show and it's not for hardcore analytics fans. This is for you. If you are a small business marketer or a solopreneur who wants to better understand what's going on in their analytics and how that can inform your marketing strategy, how that can save you time and money. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. So let's get started. Where has all the data gone? It used to be easy to find out exactly what you wanted in old analytics. Then GA4 came along and there were a lot of confused faces. My face was confused. Was yours? Because in the old analytics, in universal analytics, there were like a bazillion menus. There were menus upon menus that brought you to reports where you could find out pretty much anything that you wanted to. So, for example, there was a social media report, which was really handy. You could click in, you could instantly see which social media channel was driving traffic to your website and find out more about that traffic. Or if you use UTM tracking links, which if you don't, you should. If you use UTM tracking links, there was a campaigns report where you could see the results of either your Google ads that you were running or any campaign, even organic campaigns that you were running. So handy. But there was a downside to this as well. The downside was there were just too many menus, too many reports. So if you wanted to find something, it would take you ages, lots of clicking. And then when you got there, lots of clicking about to add other bits in so you could find the information you need, which was painful. So one of the nice things that happened when Google Analytics 4 came along was there was a new clean interface with fewer menus, fewer reports. But that also meant that we couldn't find that data easily we wanted. If we wanted to find out which social media channel was driving the most traffic, the best traffic, it wasn't as simple as finding a report. And I know that's why a lot of people have turned away from Google Analytics. But, and this is why I think GA4 is better, you can actually customize your own set of reports in Google Analytics 4 that will tell you exactly what you want to know. And today in this show, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to customize reports. So firstly, let's head over to Google Analytics and I'll show you where you find how to customize reports or where you find the reports that you can customize. Just need to find the right button to click. Told you this was live. Okay, I think everything's working. You should be able to see my screen. I'm going to put my glasses on now. So this is your Google Analytics 4 homepage. And if you click on this little square with the little lines on, like a little chart, you click on that, that brings you into your reports menu. And like I said, I've actually got my own set of reports that I've created here, but there's also, you know, a few other reports. These are your standard reports. Where do we go to customize? At the bottom here, click on library. Now, if you don't see library here, just refresh your page. Sometimes it just randomly disappears. refresh your page and it will appear. And then in your library, if you click on create new report, and today we're going to work on detail report. So create detail report. And here it brings you into one that's a blank, so you can start from scratch if you want to, or you can click into any of these pre-made reports. These are kind of your standard reports that you might see on your sidebar, but you can customize them here. We're going to start with, I'm trying to remember what we're going to start with. What are we going to start with, Amanda? The first reports we're going to look at is we're going to try and recreate something like a social media report or a UTM report. One of the most confusing things in Google Analytics 4 is the dimensions. I mean, even the word is scary, but that was always there. Dimensions actually refers pretty much to anything in your measurement that you can describe with words. So things like a country, that's a dimension, or the source. So that's the website that people come to your website from. That would be the source. But let me go in and show you the problem. So if I go in to my user acquisition report, so I'm in the custom menu here, and this will bring up the standard user acquisition report. And here we can see this. This is the primary dimension, a stupid term for the first dimension. And you'll find one of these on every report you go to. It is the first column here. And as you can see, it's described with words. And it gives us this first user primary channel group, default channel group in brackets. Now, I have to say, when I saw this in Google Analytics 4, I was like, what even is that? And I hated it. I hate it. I don't hate it quite so much now because I understand it. You can even create your own channel groups, which is a bit of fun, but a bit more than we're going to talk about today. But not helpful if you want to know which social media site, for example, drove traffic to your website. So because I'm in the customize report interface, I can start moving this around. So for example, instead of first primary channel group, I could select first user source. So this means that was the website that the first time this particular user came to your website, which website did they come from? And very often that will be a social media site or it'll be search. So I'm going to select that. And you can see we've got a big long list here, and we can scroll through the pages or we can change the rows through pages to see. So we've got things like Google, this is a spammy site. We've got ConvertKit, which is the email tool I use, Bing, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. So we've got them all there, which is great. But that's just showing us the source. Now, if you use UTM tracking, if you want to replicate the UTM report you used to be able to see, you want source, you want medium, and you want campaign, because that campaign is telling you what you did that drove traffic to your site. We can only have 2 dimensions in a standard report, but luckily, if I click on here, I can choose first user source medium. So medium is like the grouping. So any social media site should come under social. It doesn't always, long story, but it should come under social. And you can see like ConvertKit comes under email, for example. Referral means another website. So we've got our first 2 elements of our UTM parameter. And then, so source is the website, medium is how it groups it together. And then the campaign. So if you are creating UTM links, or if you're using Google Ads and you're using tracking links for that, the campaign info should come in there. And this is where we're going to add a secondary dimension by clicking on the plus sign here. And I want campaign. So if I start typing I can't type. If I start typing campaign, and we're looking for first user because we're in a user report here, first user campaign. Now I've got all 3 elements of my UTM link. So I can see which website people are coming from, how that's grouped. Again, this is wrong because we can see it's coming from facebook.com. It should be under social, but it's coming in under referral, which is kind of annoying. There are reasons behind that, but we won't go in that today. And then I can see things like this is a ConvertKit email, and I can see the name of the email, and we can see some data about the people that came from there as well. So that is how you can create a report that makes more sense to you, that's more like the universal analytics reports that we used to see. When you're finished messing, you can click on save at the top and you can save that report as whatever you want to call it. And that is useful, right? That tells you a lot more than that primary session, primary user channel group, the big horrible name that Google gave it. It tells you so much more information. But it doesn't tell you everything, because let's just have a look at that again. It is messy, right? There are so many different channels here. And if I start clicking through all of these different, and we can see it's, what even is this? And I'm not sure I want to know what that is. There's just so many things. So for example, if I want to know how well Facebook is doing, I'd have to keep clicking through all this stuff to find out how well Facebook is doing. And then I'd have to do some maths, because we've got Facebook here. We've got Facebook on page 1. I saw it under that referral. We've got mobile.facebook.com. So I need to start adding things together, which is not user-friendly at all. So what can we do about that? We can filter reports, and that's what we're going to cover in the next section. When you create a report in Google Analytics, so when you do something like change the primary channel group, default channel group, to source, user source, we see this big list of links, places that have sent traffic to us. But the URLs differ, because if we are, for example, looking at Facebook, m.facebook.com means it's come from mobile. Let's scroll through, see if we can find another Facebook. If I look down here, we've just got Facebook because I've used it in a UTM and I've used it correctly, Mr. Facebook. And if I scroll through again, we'll probably find, there we go, lm.facebook.com, which is another link that sends. So there's lots of different versions of Facebook. And that applies to other channels like Instagram as well. So that makes it complicated to filter our report. What I can do, even if I'm not in the customization interface, is I can click into the search bar and just type the word Facebook in. Of course, I haven't typed it right because I wasn't looking at what I was doing. And hit enter. And now we can see, look, all these different links. We've got Facebook with a capital F, which is different to Facebook with a small f. We've got facebook.com, m.facebook.com, l.facebook.com, lm.facebook.com. But luckily, because I put in this temporary filter, I don't need to do the maths. I can see all my data. But that's only temporary. As soon as I leave this report, that will go away and we'll be left with this big list of sites. So if I wanted just a report that told me about the traffic that comes from Facebook, I can create a filter by clicking on Add Filter here. Select a dimension. Remember, a dimension is something we talk about with words. We can see first user source here. So if we start typing that, I'm looking at my keyboard this time to make sure I type better. Select match type. So in this case, all of the versions of Facebook contain the word Facebook. So we can go for contains and type in the word Facebook. Again, not looking at my keyboard, have now. And then you can see underneath what the filter is. First user source contains Facebook, and I can click on apply. Now this has permanently changed the report. It looks exactly the same as when we put it in the search bar, but it's permanently changed this report just to show us the Facebook data. Now all we need to do is click save, and we can save by giving it a name. So you might call it Facebook traffic or traffic from Facebook, or something that makes sense to you so that you can find it easily in the future. I'm actually not going to save now because I have so many test reports I've created. It is cluttering up my analytics. Okay, so far we have filtered by Facebook, but why? We can do something else that is really cool. And I'm going to show you that in a moment. We can filter our reports for all sorts of things. We can filter our reports for, say, the marketing channel that people have come from, whether that's a social media channel or an email channel. It's really important to use UTM tracking here. I have got a course on that, which I'm going to put a link to below. It's only $9.99 and it will tell you everything you need to know to get this stuff working. It really helps you create better reports. But what if we want to know, for example, which landing pages, so the first page that people arrive on your website, is driving the most purchases? Wouldn't it be good to know that? Because if we knew that, we could then start working on the pages that weren't driving purchases and see, why aren't these working as well as the others? Or we can share the pages that do drive purchases way more on our organic social, or even run ads to them. How do we do that? Let's go over to Google Analytics. Here we are. And I'm in the customise report from library, customise report, create new report, create detail report. And this time we're going to choose landing page as our report that we're going to customise. So if I click onto that, it will bring us in to a new landing page report. And here we can see now landing page is always listed by its page path. What do I mean by page path? So it's everything that goes after the / on your website. So you have your domain name, in my case, spiderworking.com, and then /, and then you'll have like the name of a page in your link. And that's what a page path is. So you can see here the / on its own, that's your home page. We can see some others. That's me logging in and not blocking it. Naughty Amanda. We can also see there's some blog posts here. This is a course, possibly even my UTM course. So I can see the page paths for all of those. But I would love to know which landing pages are actually driving purchases. Or if you don't sell on your website, and I don't sell much on my website, what landing pages are driving maybe email subscribers, or people to fill in a quotation form, or people to fill in your contact form. We can filter this report to show us just that. This is brand new, by the way. I'm recording this in November 2024, and this has only been available for a few weeks. So over here on the right-hand side, click on Add Filter. For your dimension, all of those things, purchases, email subscribers, as long as you've got them set up as a custom event, you'll be able to filter them here. So the dimension will be event name. So if I start typing event, that pops up event name. Select match type, and we're going to go for exactly matches here, because this will give you a list of the events you can choose from, rather than you trying to remember what did I actually call that event. So if I click on that, we can see these are kind of your standard events: first visit, session start, click, etc. But if I scroll down, I don't see purchase. There it is, purchase. Or, I could go for other ones of these depending on what events had been triggered. If you don't see your event there, you can go in and go for contains and just type in your event name. This is just faster. Sometimes you won't see it there if it hasn't been triggered in a certain period of time. So now we've got event name exactly matches purchase. If I click on apply, woohoo! That's not exciting at all. I can just see, I'm just looking at the last 30 days. I thought I was looking for a longer period, but we can see I've had 3 purchases through the order page on my website, and that's when I send people directly to buy something. So that's not exciting at all. But once I've saved this report, I will be able to change the time period I'm looking at, and that will give me a better idea of what's happened over that time. Okay, so far, what have we done? We've looked at how you can see which landing pages. I kind of want to show you that again. Can I show you that again with the whole year's worth of data? So it would be useful for me to show you how to do that. So let's go back in and click on back. Discard this. I'm just going to go into my reports, and I'm going to change my time frame from 28 days to 12 months, because I just want to show you how cool this is, and I feel I haven't properly shown you how cool it is. Click on apply. Right, so this means now when I create a report, it will be looking at 12 months of data. Now, That's not set in stone. Once a report is created, you can always change the the time period that you're looking at. But just for this demo, I want to show you how cool that landing page report is. So click on library, click on create new report, create detail report. I'm going to choose landing page. And here we can see the landing pages. I'm going to click on add filter on the right hand side. Select dimension, event name. Select match type, exactly matches. Select dimension value. And now I can see way more. Purchase and apply. Now we can see which landing pages have driven purchases. So we can see Order Analytics Day, which was a free conference I ran this year. This is the sales page for my UTM course. This is another sales page for it. So you can see instantly my order page, when I can send people directly, is driving the most sales, but some of these other pages are doing well too. And also really interestingly, this What the UTM is generating the most of any of my courses. And my Google Analytics for Beginners course isn't on this list. So that's really interesting to look at. Okay, so that's your landing page. So now you can see which landing pages are driving the most sales, the most purchases, or as I said, it doesn't have to be a purchase. It could be the most email subscribers if you have an event set up for that, or the most quotations, or the most inquiry forms, whatever it is, you're instantly able to see that. So now you can start evaluating these pages. Is it, for example, that my UTM course is only $9.99, so of course I get more purchases of that? Or is it a case of my mini analytics course, the page isn't very good? I know the page isn't very good for that because I let ChatGPT write it when ChatGPT was a new thing. It is rubbish. So maybe that's the problem. You can start analysing that once you can see that information. But of course, purchases is one thing. What about the revenue that you're getting from each of these pages? In this next section, we're going to look at how you can customise the metrics. These are the things you measure with numbers. Website visitors can be valuable. They can be people who make a purchase. They can be people who engage with your site. And you shouldn't overlook those people who engage with your site because they might not buy this time, but by spending time on your site or by clicking around on your site or reading a number of pages, they are valuable visitors because they're the people who are going to remember you. You are building memory points in their mind so that when they're ready to buy, they're going to remember it's you that they want to buy from. How can we find out if someone is a valuable visitor, both either for revenue or for engagement? Well, we can customize the metrics in our report. So I'm going to go back into my Google Analytics. Here we go. And let's have a look. This was the report I created for Facebook. So how valuable are these visitors? There's a few things that can tell me that in this standard report. So we've got average engagement time per user, 17 seconds. We can, if I look at my regular report, we can see the average engagement time per user in general for all these pages is 3 minutes 48. So that's not particularly good news from Facebook there. We can see we don't have engagement rate here, do we? We have key events. So these are events. If you remember the old analytics, these used to be called goals. Now they're called key events. They were called conversions in between. They keep calling new things. But basically this registers. These are things that you mark as business goals on your website. So it's somebody buying from you. It's somebody filling in a form. It's somebody downloading a lead magnet, joining your email list, whatever. So we've got key events here. So we can see 21 from Facebook. If I go across to the report that has everything in, we can see that there's for. Which doesn't make sense. That's because it's for a smaller period of time, Amanda. Okay, and then we can see the user key event rate is 7.5%. What I'm not seeing here is the revenue that I've made from this channel. So that would be useful to know, right? So on the right-hand side, I can start messing with these metrics. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a brand new report. So let's just go back into the library. Right, so I'm in the library. I'm going to create a brand new report so that I can change my metrics around. So create new report, create detail report, and let's go for landing page, which we've looked at already. And actually, just messing with some stuff here. Okay, so here's the one that shows us a year. So as we can see, average engagement time per second is per session is 1 minute 46, and we can see that some of these pages are doing way better. So the average amount of time here is 107, so that's less. We can actually order this report if I click on this arrow here to see. So there's some blog posts here, for example, that are generating way more time on site, but they are just one user, so that's not always useful. That's an interesting metric to look at. We've got our key events, we've got total revenue coming up here. So two things. Firstly, I think we should reorder this report to put revenue front and center, because that's what I'm most interested in here. So if I go into metrics on the right hand side, I'm going to move revenue right to the top. So it appears before sessions, active users, everything. And I'm also going to make it the most important metric. Then we've got sessions, active users, new users, average engagement time, key events. There's a few others here. So engagement rate, that's a really nice metric and it's not appearing here. So I want to add it just to show you what I did there. Went into add metric and started typing engagement. And engagement, and of course it's not working now. Okay, go into add metric and start typing engagement, and we can see engagement rate comes up. So I'm going to click onto that. Now engagement rate means somebody spent a certain amount of time on your site, they visited more than one page, or they've triggered a key event. So these are valuable visitors. So I'm going to move that up here as well. So now the whole report is going to be ordered by revenue, and we've added some additional metrics. Click on apply. And now we can see that the first metric, the most important metric probably for us, is the revenue. And we can see that the landing page for the highest amount of revenue is, thank goodness, my training program, followed by a few others there. Now, I don't sell much directly on my website, so you should be seeing probably higher revenue than this if you do. If you don't sell anything on your website, I wouldn't worry about this one too much. And then we can see we've got our engagement rates come in. So this is the average of the number of people, it's the percentage of the number of people who visited your site that have triggered one of those engagement things. Looked at more than one page, spent, I can't remember if it's 10 or 30 seconds off the top of my head, scrolled your page or triggered a key event. So this is looking really good here. We can see we've got a really good engagement rate from 202 sessions. We've got an engagement rate of 71%. So even though we've only got 9 key events, that's looking really positive. You know, this one is too small. We've only got 12 people, so we can't really make a judgment on 12 people. It's not statistically significant. So I'd always look for something over 100 at least. And statisticians out there might be going, haha, Amanda, that's not even significant. But we can see the top revenue pages tend to be the ones with the highest engagement rate. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that these pages are driving revenue. These pages are driving quality visitors to our site. So even if you don't have revenue, you can see if they are engaging with your site. And remember, you shouldn't overlook engagement just because they're not buying. So very often when you look at a Facebook report or email report. They might not be buying directly, but you will be able to see how long they're spending on site and whether they're engaging with your site. And that is a valuable visitor. That's some of the ways that you can customize your Google Analytics for experience so that you can see exactly the data that you need to see. And I've rushed through 4 or 5 different ways that you can customize reports. Do give it a go. There's a few things I haven't had time to show you. So firstly, I haven't had time to show you how you add those so you can have your custom sidebar. So it makes it very easy to find those reports in the future. I also, if you're looking at this and going, well, that's handy and I'm going to give this a go, but wouldn't it be great if actually I could just get someone to do it for me? That someone could be me, and I need to lean. Oh, there we go. That could be me. I offer a done for you service if you want somebody to set up your analytics for you, configure it correctly, do a full audit to make sure everything is triggering correctly, and to create a fancy report, a visual report that means you don't have to look at all these numbers. You can actually visually see what's working on your website instantly. That's me. You can scan the QR code or you can go to spiderworking.com/solve it. That is it for December. That is it for 2024. It is. It's all gone for 2024. But I will be back with that analytics show in January. It's always the first Friday of the month. It is not the first Friday of January because I'll still be on my holidays. It will be Friday the 10th of January that I will be doing this show live. I hope to see you then. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, I don't really celebrate Christmas, I celebrate Christmas trees. However you celebrate this holiday, I hope you have a fantastic one, and I will see you in 2025. Until then, bye-bye!